Money on my mind, looking for a dime. James Locke in the house, gonna help you shine.
Welcome to the Pool Lock YouTube channel. I'm James Locke. Today we're going to answer some of the Ask James questions of the day. And our first question from Kim. She's wondering, I think your advice is superb for people like me. What really hit home was comparing growth investments to gambling. What do you recommend for my kids who are in their 30s do for their investments? Kim, this is great. I'm glad to hear you talk because everyone who sends in emails or writes, it's really about themselves. But here you're caring about your kids. I love it. Thanks, Kim. So really thanks for thinking about the next generation, right? That's what good parents do. The answer is, remember, I've said before in other questions, right? Somebody has more time, 10, 15 years, that's a luxury, right, before retirement. Well, someone who's in their 20s or 30s, from 30 years from retirement, let's say, they have even more luxury. So as long as they're diversified, meaning they don't just own a handful of stocks, or they're not lopsided where they don't own anything but AI stocks or something like that. If they're diversified across the stock market, it could be as simple as buying a few diversified index funds with very low fees and just sitting on them. Over the next 30 years, they're likely to do better than an income-first approach will do. But why does it work for them? Because they have 30 years, right? First of all. And second, they're not pulling money out, they're putting money in. And when you put money in, the dips become your friend. When the market dips, they actually buy more shares. It's called dollar cost averaging. This is the complete opposite of what happens in retirement, where market dips force you to sell more shares to maintain your income, which is devastating to your long-term wealth. Here's what I mean by that luxury of time. Your kids can weather multiple market crashes and recoveries. They'll probably see 3, 4, maybe 5 major market corrections over their working careers. Each one of those corrections, if they keep investing regularly, becomes a wealth building opportunity. Remember, every share of Apple, Microsoft, or Amazon that someone bought during the 2008 financial crisis turned out to be a gold mine, right? But you have to have the luxury of not needing that money for decades. Now, here's the key advice I'd give your kids. Automate everything. Set up automatic investments into those low-cost index funds, maybe $500 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever they can afford. Don't try to time the market. Don't get cute with individual stock picks. And for heaven's sakes, don't chase the latest investment fad. I've seen too many young people get burned trying to day trade or jumping into whatever's hot on social media. The beauty of starting in your 30s is compound interest becomes your best friend. So if your kids invest $6,000 a year, that's $500 a month, starting at age 30, and they average 8% returns, they'll have over $1.3 million by age 65. But if they wait until they're 40 to start, that same $6,000 a year only grows to about $650,000. That's the power of those extra 10 years. But here's what I want your kids to understand about the transition that's coming for them. Sometime in their late 50s or early 60s, they're going to need to make the same shift you're making now. They'll need to transition from growth-first approach to an income-first approach. The mistake I see too many people make is they get so comfortable with growth investing that they never make that transition. They retire with a bunch of growth stocks and then wonder why they're stressed out watching their retirement accounts bounce around like ping pong balls. So my advice to your kids is this: build wealth with growth investments for the next 25, 30 years, but start learning about income investing now. Understand how dividends work. Learn about different types of bonds. Get familiar with REITs. That way, when it comes time to make the transition, it won't be foreign territory to them. And one more thing, teach your kids to live below their means. I don't care how much money they make. If they can't save and invest consistently, all the investment advice in the world won't help them. The best investment strategy starts with spending less than you earn and investing the difference. That's the foundation everything else is built on. That's a great question. Thank you so much. If you would like to send in your question, you can do so. You can email that question to poollock@poollock.com. Let's move right along to our second question, and this is from Joey. Joey says, I'm invested in bonds, and I know that they're a contractual investment, like you've always said, but they can drop in value too. So wouldn't that affect my income? This is a common question we get. It's a great question. And we want to clear up a common misunderstanding about bonds and preferred stocks. Let's dive deeper into this important topic because it's crucial for anyone investing for income in retirement. You're absolutely right that bonds are contractual investments, akin to a loan you make to a company or government entity. Now, when you purchase a bond, you're guaranteed a fixed amount of income, typically paid as interest, until the bond matures. Now, the fixed income is based on the bond's face value, not its market price fluctuations. So even if the market value of that bond fluctuates, your income remains stable and unchanged. In fact, if the market value of the bond drops, the yield or the percentage income relative to the face value actually increases, making it appear more attractive to new investors. However, if your guaranteed dollar income remains unaffected by these market movements. Now, where the concern arises is if the bond's price drops significantly due to perceived or actual financial instability of the issuer. Now, this could be an increased risk of default, where the issuer may struggle to pay back the principal amount at maturity or even fail to make interest payments. In such extreme cases of default or bankruptcy, there is a risk of losing some or all of your investment. This underscores the importance of diversification when investing in bonds. By spreading your investments across different issuers and types of bonds, you can mitigate the risk of any single issuer defaulting and impacting your income stream. Now, preferred stocks, on the other hand, share some characteristics with bonds, such as having a fixed income payout. They also have a par or face value and tend to track more closely with the bond market than with common stocks. However, unlike bonds, preferred stocks do not have a maturity date and are considered perpetual investments. This perpetual nature introduces a slightly higher risk compared to bonds, but again, the fixed dollar amount of income is generally assured as long as the issuer remains solvent. Unlike common stocks, where dividends can be cut or suspended at the discretion of the company's management, bonds and preferred stocks offer a more predictable income stream. So this stability is a key advantage for retirees relying on these investments for regular income. In summary, while bonds and preferred stocks can fluctuate in market value, your income from these investments is generally insulated from those fluctuations, barring extreme circumstances like issuer default or bankruptcy. So diversification across issuers and types of fixed income securities is essential to mitigate these risks and ensure a steady income throughout retirement. Hey, great questions today. And as always, if you'd like to send in your question, you can do so by emailing them to poollock@poollock.com. And if you like what you heard, go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel. I'm James Locke, your retirement income source. I'll see you next time.
Money on my mind, looking for a dime. James Locke in the house, gonna help you shine. Retirement is near, don't you live in fear. Listen up, my friend, let me make it clear. Savings in the bank.